Thank you for inviting me to speak at the third International Conference in Marketing hosted by IBS. I'm sorry I cannot be there in person. I'm going to talk about the impact of two things on the Indian consumer behavior. The first and a very important one is really the generation discontinuity. For example, the change is so rapid in India that the generation gap is now down to 8 years as opposed to 25 years. The older sister cannot relate to the younger sister in both lifestyle as well as in family values. And the other major impact is about the digital revolution. India is leapfrogging the typical computer age, going into the mobile phone age, and it is very universal, pervasive, true democratization of technology is the cell phone, and the use of the cell phone as an everyday gadget or a device for everything we do. And how does that impact consumer behavior in the marketplace? The title of my presentation is India's New Middle Class, Rise of the Roommate Family. So what is a roommate family? Roommate family is the next generation of households. Those are young families where both husband and wife have to work. Both have college education, which is not as uncommon in India because we continue from high school to college and we stay at home so long as we get admission at a top public university or a college, or we get some private university fees that are able to pay, but it's very common. And both have to work for economic survival and or to achieve their aspirations about the future. When you have both spouses working together, fundamentally there is a shift from money scarcity to time scarcity. Monday through Friday, or in the case of India, Monday through Saturday, 8 to 5, nobody's home. People are commuting, going to work. Time left for anything else is very limited. You have a sleep deprivation. You have all kinds of issues that are arising. Therefore, family has no time to get together even for meals. Each one is independent and they behave like roommates. Hence, I call it the roommate family. The joint family system, which is traditional historical way we lived, where in the same house, brothers will live together, sisters will get married, the cousins will all be together, all that is going away. The young generation does not want to live with their parents. They are much more interested in their personal freedom and privacy, their independence. They are struggling to cope with time poverty. There is no support system. You may have the maid today, but tomorrow maid won't be available anymore. That's very fascinating. Parents live in a different city or in a different location, and while one can rely on parents to do the babysitting and value creation on the kids, etc., it is going to go out of style. We will become just like in the Western world, a nuclear family. Coping with time poverty, stressful lifestyles, and struggling to manage spirituality and search for meaning in life at a much younger age. So this is the new reality. Welcome to this reality. What are its implications, which is the main point of my presentation? There are 8 key implications. The first major implication is what I call outsourcing comes home. Now we thought outsourcing was Indian IT services doing outsourcing of American or European corporations. In the call center business, the BPO business, the development centers, whatever they call it. The biggest outsourcing actually is the family outsourcing, what they did every day, cooking, cleaning, and childcare. Young generation refuses to learn how to cook, how to take care. They can't take care of their own child that they produce, for example. And these all requires, therefore, outside commercial activities. When you make it at home, it does not add in the GDP calculations. It's only the raw materials that you bring in, let's say the rice, the wheat, etc. But you make a chapati or you make sabzi, the extra value add is not added, and typically value add in a commercial enterprise would be about 5 times the raw material, sometimes 7 to 10 times the raw material. Interestingly. So cooking, cleaning, and childcare will become major industries going forward. We are eating out a lot more than ever before. Or we have the food delivered at home nowadays because of the Flipkarts and the Uber of the world. We have Flipkart and Snapdeal, which means we don't have to go outside. People bring now groceries that you want every day to your house. Companies like Big Basket, for example, have a huge valuation, which is very simple because working class with both wage earners working outside 12 hours a day, 6 days a week have no time. So home delivery of prepared ingredients or prepared meals is very common. So you have definitely Domino's pizzas who can deliver. You can have retailer delivering goods to you. This changes the whole paradigm in the way we approach marketing. Second major change in India is there will be more and more demand for branded products and services. My estimates are running that in India, 65% of all consumption in consumer markets is unbranded. And in services, it may be 90%. While we may know branded services like the banks, for example, or cellular telephones, but doctors, the lawyers, colleges even, really have no brands. So products like rice, wheat, and flour, this young generation does not want to buy unbranded products. They want that to be branded because branding provides consistency and quality assurance. Snacks and sweets are becoming more and more branded now, the street food. We don't trust the vendor, it may be adulterated. Whether you buy idli outside in South India, which I used to do, or you buy mithai in the North India, or you buy snacks, street food is considered unhealthy now, maybe contaminated, and therefore we want more and more packaged branded snacks. So companies like Haldiram's are growing enormously, shifting from unbranded competition, unbranded products to branded products. Watch that trend. It is going to happen with garments and definitely appliances. I remember my days where there were no ready-made shirts off the shelf. I bought material, went to a shop, 2 meters, 3 meters, whatever I needed, went to a tailor, had a custom-made tailor the shirts, pants, and of course eventually a suit. It is all now becoming off-the-shelf branded products in garments. I've seen that thing very clearly, but it's more universal across all the things that you can imagine, except probably those expensive manufactured products like refrigerators or, for example, luggage. By the way, even in luggage, I found at one time 65% was unbranded luggage. People used to have metal boxes that took them into the railway cars, for example. Today, they all buy branded soft luggage. Unbranded segment is pushed out more and more, which is interesting. Third, which is a very important paradigm shift, and therefore traditional learning from economics is not very valuable. Because wants are becoming needs now. Smartphones is a necessity. At one time, economists labeled a telephone as a luxury. Think about the change in the policy thinking. Smartphones are a daily necessity. You can't live without them. Today in rural markets, fastest growth is for motorcycles and cars. Maid and nanny services are more and more needed now, which is again, there's a shortage of surprisingly nanny services. So you have a surplus of labor on the one hand and shortage on the other side. And by the way, that goes for plumbing, that goes for furniture making, that goes for electricians, no matter what you look at it. All the services sector have that right now gap between what is wanted versus what's available. But they're all necessities. I do want to point out here something which I was absolutely struck and surprised me, that the purchasing power or discretionary income, disposable income, is far greater in rural India than it is in urban metro areas. I'll give you an example. A typical software engineer, as soon as he joins in Bangalore an IT services company, may be earning about 50,000 rupees a month, 50,000, let's say, 6 lakhs. But he has no spending money. First of all, tax is deducted at source, TDS. That reduces the cash. He lives in a paying guest area where he pays enormous rent per month. 30,000 rupees to 40,000 a month is not uncommon in metro areas. Of course, he's more modern, therefore all his eating habits are modern. He pays for them, eating out. He has to have luxury brands. That again is expensive. He wants to go to the nightclub, contemporary, has some significant other, he's dating, whatever we call that thing. All that adds up to an expense, therefore he's cash flow poor. Contrast that to the crane operator in Mundra, Kutch, where you have a Adani port. He makes about 65 to 70,000 rupees a month, only high school educated, has vocational technical training, certified how to operate the crane, married usually, lives with the family, his parents' house. The wife is a homemaker. She takes care of all the chores. His discretionary income is outrageous. And all that money he would like to spend now in becoming a modern contemporary citizen or save for the child and child's education. So fastest growth is in rural India now for things like motorcycles and not bicycles, but motorcycles. And surprisingly for consumer products like soaps and detergents. That's the key change. Fourth, blurring of the boundaries between home and work. So now today we do work at home and then we do shopping at workplace. So this is blurring the boundaries because you have to cope with the time, and anything that constrains by location and time, you want to rebel against that one or you bypass that somehow. Very key change. Therefore, there is no some such thing as this is the shopping place and these are the shopping hours. People will shop online, any place, anywhere, anyhow. And today I can use mobile phone any place practically. They're all into 4G architecture now. With Reliance Jio coming in, you will see a huge revolution taking place in the way people buy products, in the way people search for information for products, in the way people pay for the products, in the way people have the products delivered to them or pick them up. Fifth, sharing roles and responsibilities. The young generation feels quite comfortable that the husband can be Mr. Mom, it's okay. He should learn how to change the diaper. He should learn how to raise kids along with the mother. Mother is working. Interestingly changed there. So there's a role definition that used to be there in my generation of a homemaker and a breadwinner is blurring its boundary. Unfortunately, when blurring of the boundaries, always question is who is in charge. There are family debates and conflicts after conflicts. We are right now in what we call the twilight zone. We are patriarchal society migrating toward matriarchal, but so far we are in that middle. We don't know whether we are patriarchal society or a matriarchal society. Key change. Number 6, Rise of debt-financed consumption. At one time in India, we didn't buy anything unless we had a full cash to pay, whether it was a house or a college degree for that matter, or a motorcycle, a telephone set at one time, any product that required capital expenditure. At best, middle class family may be sometimes financed by the neighborhood grocery store guy to say, all right, this month you're short of cash, some medical event took place, I will give you credit for a month or so, you can pay me later on. Today, lots and lots of debit based consumption will take place through credit card debit that you get. Debit cards, of course, can have some cash flow. Housing loans, student loans. This is going to change the nature of the country compared to what it used to be, become again more and more a westernized way of doing things. Number 7. This is a very key impact. And I've been doing a lot of research all over the world. For the first time, I see society changing from a kinship relationship where father, mother, brother, sister, uncle, aunt are the relationship for social relationships. It's going to shift. Friendship will dominate over kinship. What matters more to me are my friends, not my family members. Partly this is because of the decline of the joint family. We have lots of neighborhood support groups. Neighbors support neighbors, not family members. There are more social get-togethers with friends. In America, we had 2 very great television programs. One was called Friends even. Other one was Jerry Seinfeld, that actually articulated the future change taking place in the American family where friendship has replaced kinship. It is going to happen in metro areas in India very soon. It is happening. In fact, I would recommend watching an Indian movie that reflects this thing. Maybe about 7-8 years ago it came out, Club 60. That articulates about older generation also, not just the younger generation, not bonding well with their own kids, but bonding with the club members in a typical metropolitan club in Bombay. Number 8, spiritualism coexists with materialism. People are struggling to say what is the meaning of life. We are in a sort of a treadmill. We don't know where we are going. There doesn't seem to be a purpose in life, which is why spiritualism is growing at the same time as material possessions are growing. People are into meditation. People want to have a guru of some sort. Not only the traditional gods and goddesses and the deities of the family, but they want to listen to a spiritual leader. That's a very unique phenomenon taking place now in India among the educated people. And we are extending ourselves through our possessions, but more and more in the digital virtual world. In America, we have websites like Second Life or Farmville, where very busy managers, executives will rush home, log into the Farmville, which is another community, vicarious virtual community, and the wife, or the woman in this case, wants to milk her cow before sunset. That's more important in her life than actually her own children. That is a new way of reality because of the technology. We have virtual ashrams now. Isn't that fascinating? We said I have to go physically to an ashram or have the guru come to my house, but I can be a part of a group, and we are a virtual community, virtual ashrams. And of course, gurus come home virtually. That's interesting. Through the media, social media. So let me summarize now. Rise of India's new middle class, what I call the roommate family, will be disruptive in its impact on consumption behavior. It will redefine what constitutes a family or the household as a unit of analysis for consumer behavior. Dual income will become a necessity for economic survival and fulfilling aspirational needs, wants, and desires. In other words, going forward, Whether the spouse works or not is not a question of convenience or the nice thing to do, it is a necessity. The biggest impact of this change will be on outside homemaking activities such as cooking, cleaning, and childcare. It will also create demand for branded quality products and services. Time poverty and time shift will be as important to understand as money poverty. I hope you have enjoyed this presentation. I'm sorry again that I could not be there with you in person. Thank you.